Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster, and I thought it was about time that we finished up our Carving a Bowl from End Grain series. Now, I thought this bowl was taking a very long time to dry, and as you can see it still looks very damp on the bottom of the bowl here. And I sanded this down a little bit yesterday, and much to my surprise it wasn't actually damp. And if I show you this piece of sandpaper here, what you should hopefully be able to see on the camera there is that the beeswax finish that I put inside the bowl, just to sort of finish off that first part, has actually penetrated all the way through and is starting to come out this side. So what I took to be moisture was actually the beeswax finish coming through. So what I'm now going to do today is just basically finish off this bowl. I'm going to get a beeswax finish on the sides and on the bottom, and then we should be done. So what I'll do, let me bring you a little bit closer in. I'll fire up my stove and we'll get going. Right then guys, so you've seen me do this before. I've just got my little brass frying pan here, or copper frying pan should I say, and I'm just going to heat up a little bit of my my beeswax finish. If you have a look at some of my other videos, if you've not seen this before, you will see me making this. It's a very simple, easy process. It's essentially natural beeswax and oil mixed together at a certain ratio, and what that does, it provides a really good finish for this kind of woodwork. And it really is that quick and simple. Hopefully you can see there's a little bit melting inside that will finish off going by itself. I just want to find a little wedge of wood that will probably do us, just to hold this pan from tipping over. And again, all we're going to do is just take a fresh rag, such as this one. In fact, maybe I'll use this one. This one's got a bit more on it. And all you want to do is just, while it's still in that sort of liquid form, and you can do this when it's solidified, it just takes a little bit more elbow grease. And what you want to do is literally just dip that in and lightly work it into the wood. You don't want to be putting too much on, because you're going to have to buff this back off afterwards. And again, because I've left this as a tooled finish on the side, you will find that some wax will work its way in. It'll get into places that'll make it a little bit more difficult to buff out than a flat, sort of smooth piece of wood. But I think personally, this is obviously entirely personal opinion, but I think that makes it look slightly nicer. But you do need to make sure that you protect the sides of the bowl just as you do with the inside and the bottom. So you will find, like this, you do get some areas that are a little bit thicker than others, and that's fine. You can work that out when you come to buff it. And then just a last layer on the bottom just to seal everything in. Hopefully you can see on the camera there that's smearing quite a bit, which is what I expected it to do. There's no surprises there. And I'm just going to let this sit for a little while just to soak in, and then I'll come back and we'll buff it off. Right guys, well that's been soaking in now for about 10 minutes. Hopefully this is picking up well enough on the camera. It's quite a sort of good thick layer on there. I haven't really slapped it on, but you can certainly see where it is. And the first thing we really want to do with this now, and this is the slightly messy part, so be warned, you will get smothered in wax at this point, is just take a cloth. This is a piece of cotton that I had kicking around. You can use pretty much anything for this, provided it's not sort of rough or abrasive. And really what you want to do is just start wiping off, and you can do this in sort of a circular motion, or you can do this however best suits you, but just start wiping off that excess. And what you'll start to see very quickly, and if I just finish this small section, I'll show you on the camera what I mean. So if you look here, first of all, you've got still quite a thick layer on there. It's very waxy looking. If I turn around to here, and hopefully that sort of distinguishes itself on the camera enough. This has now started going to quite a glossy shine, which is what we're trying for. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to spend 5 minutes or so just buffing this out on sort of the first stage, if you like, which is basically just removing sort of the real amounts of excess wax on this. Again, what you might find you need to do is take another cloth, depending on how you're doing this, so just lay it on your legs so you're not covering your clothing in wax. And I'll buff this off, then we'll come back to give it sort of a final finish. Okay, so hopefully you should be able to see a bit of a difference on here. I've removed all of the excess wax. This has now got a nice coating on it. I can run my fingers over this, and this is the important part. You can run your fingers over it without getting any kind of waxy residue sort of sticking on your fingers. And at that point you know that the wax has sort of taken and you've removed the excess. And then finally, all you want to take is a nice soft lint-free cloth just to give everything a final polish, and what that will do is just gloss it up to sort of quite a nice sheen, which is kind of what I want to go for on this. You can leave it in more of a matte finish, depends on what you prefer. I like a little bit of a shine on my woodwork, so that's what I'm going to do. And while I'm doing this, you know, I thought I'd just spend a couple of minutes just talking about this project in general. So this, if you've watched the whole series, you'll know this was a new technique for me. I'd not tried carving anything from the end grain before, and although it's had its ups and downs and there's a few issues with the splitting that we've discussed, and you know, it has taken a very, very long time to dry out, mainly because it's quite a large piece and there's quite a lot of wood, certainly on the base of this bowl, to give it some sort of heaviness and stability. But all in all, I've really enjoyed making this. And would I make another one? Probably not in exactly this style. I've certainly learned some lessons on what to do and what not to do. I'd probably try and take a larger piece of wood, to be perfectly honest, and split it down into sort of halves or quarters, and make the bowl out of something other than the end grain. To give you a very quick example of what I'm trying to explain, if I take a piece of wood like this, what I probably should have done was actually marked out the bowl within something like this and then cut into it sort of this way, rather than trying to cut down here, because the end grain, as many of you will know, is inherently prone to splitting. It was sorry for the plane over there, guys. I'm not sure if that's messing up the audio too much, but essentially, you know, this was more of a test of whether or not I could sort of carve a bowl in this way, and I'm quite happy with the result. Next time round, I'll probably make it in a slightly different manner, as I've said. But all in all, you know, as far as these things go, I'm still quite pleased with it. Just finish that off. Make sure I've not put any marks inside. And there we go. So it's taken a while, but we now have a fully finished, fully waterproofed, with a wax finish bowl. Personally, I don't think it looks too bad. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. It may or may not be your cup of tea. I know some people, you know, prefer things a bit more even, let's say. You know, if you were to make this on, say, a lathe or something like that, you know, it would be perfectly symmetrical. I quite like the sort of the handcrafted look. You can just see on the inside of the bowl there, if I point it out, so you've got the little split there that we had previously, which as soon as I put this this wax finish on, it sort of covered all of that. So although you can still see it, it's not, you can't feel it. and it's not going to have any problems in terms of not being able to use the bowl. Again, on the bottom, because I've just put the wax finish on, you can see these cracks here are a little bit more prominent. That's just where the wax has got caught inside them, so there's a slight colour change. But again, if I run my finger over this, if I run my nail over it, I can just feel these with my nail, but I know that they're not going all the way through the bowl. So again, this is now ready for use. I can put anything from dry materials to cold or dry things in there, anything down to liquid, even hot liquids. You could put soups in this, you could put stew, you could use it as a cereal bowl. What you will need to do, and something to bear in mind with woodworks or wooden items like this that you've given a finish to, you will need to restore the finish on this every now and again, especially if you're using it for for eating out of rather than just for sort of storing things in. So I know some people who would use this as a bowl for, say, potpourri. Somebody might you might put sweets or something like that in there, use it as a very small fruit bowl, for example, and that's fine, and that will last for a very, very long time used in that manner. If I'm going to use this for things like cereal or soups, where I'm putting a metallic spoon or even a wooden spoon in here and eating out of it, you will gradually erode this finish. It's not a huge problem, and it's not something you'll have to do that regularly. You just need to keep an eye on it, maybe once, I don't know, a couple of months, maybe once every 6 months. Just basically do exactly what we've done today and just reapply that finish, and this bowl and anything like this will last a considerable length of time. I've got not so much bowls, but certainly spoons and ladles and things like that I've made several years ago that are still going strong. Give them a little finish every now and again and they're absolutely fine. But I hope it was useful, guys. Thanks for sticking with me through this series. As I said, it's not been without its challenges. But hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks, guys.